Greetings, community, and welcome to Entropy in Comics. I'm your host, Kevin, and this is Kevin's most anticipated reads tomorrow for New Comic Book Day, 5/20/2026. Appreciate each and every single one of you that cruises on in on through. I truly do, and hey, without you, would only be half as much fun as it really is. So let's start it off and let's cruise over and talk about our first book of the night, which is Dark Horse. Hey Jag, how you doing, man? Hope you're well. Appreciate you cruising on through. Let's start off with talking about Usagi Yojimbo Kaito 84, issue number 3. Have to admit, I have seriously, that stack and then another one. I'm like 4 months behind. That doesn't mean that I ain't looking forward to jumping into this book. I actually just logged in issue number 1, and yeah, I'm hoping tomorrow I can get into issue number 1. And then I'll start logging in that whole big old mess behind me and then get in issue number 2 and 3. Looking forward to issue number 3 dropping on 5/20/2026. Las Cruces, how you do? So, hey, that's what I'm saying. From Dark Horse, I'm looking forward to the Usagi Yojimbo issue 3 coming out for not only you, but me on tomorrow's New Comic Book Day, Wednesday, 2026. It's actually going to be on the 20th of this May. Got a little flustered. Let's cruise on out of there from the Dark Horse and cruise over to Oni Press. Oni's going to give us Dead Teenagers, issue number 3. I would have that book in my hand right now if it wasn't for the fact that they sold out in my store. Yeah, I didn't pre-order it. I got to go to another one. Looking forward to jumping over there and getting a couple of books because, yeah, I haven't been over there in a while, and I look forward to getting over to another store I've been into in about a month. Yeesh. There, I'll go ahead and pick up Dead Teenagers, issue number 3. I have read issue number 1, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. It took me back a little bit. I wasn't expecting. The delivery was a little bit more than I really had any expectations of. It didn't take itself too seriously, but the momentum, the overall storyline delivery was very smooth, and it just felt like, I don't know, very stereotypical as far as watching like a teenage kids prom thing going on, and being that it was on a Groundhog's Day style roulette wheel going around where you didn't know what was going to land on and how they're going to end up all dying. That thoroughly kind of tickled me. So hey, I'm on board for the whole series. Dead Teenagers issue number 3 coming out on 5/20/2026. Like I said again, I appreciate everyone cruising on through. Agu, how are you? All right, let's cruise over from Dead Teenagers out of Oni Press and over to. Whoa, what happened to my. Oh, no. You know what I did, people? I wonder if I can actually. I'll tell you what I did. I actually unintentionally deleted one of my bumpers. So I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead and bring that back and throw it on in. I think I did it. Image! I did do it. All right, Image Studios is going to give us first G.I. Joe issue number 22. Like I said, I'm really far behind. I'm really liking what they're doing now that we are into the 3rd season, essentially, of the Energon universe. This is a whole crossover on a crossover on a crossover, along with we're going to get new introductions of new characters and new series. The Mask is coming. There's going to be some breakaway and break off little individual singles that are going to be coming out as far as one shots and breaking in a little bit deep dive into some of the characters. I'm digging what they're doing with this Energon universe. I really like how it's expanded, and not only expanded, but at the same point, kind of contracted. These are all initially independent titles that now interdependent upon one another as far as the storyline. They're all crossing over. I can't wait for Void Rivals to cross over with the other two directly. But until that time, again, G.I. Joe issue number 22 coming out on 5/20/2026. Let's cruise out for the G.I. Joe series, Enter John, and cruise over and talk about the Narco issue number 3. This is a Wagner verse. This is a universe all its own. It's all tied into plastic and vinyl and all that other stuff. At the same point, these are all standalone series. They all revolve around a kind of a central theme where we tend to get a serial killer, but in this storyline, we get one in which that is the witness of these serial killings tends to pass out whenever his heart rate goes up, hence the narcolepsy response, and hence the name. Man, I love what Wagner does, and his team is just brilliant. I like the delivery, and I like how they do it. Issue number 1 always blows your mind. Issue number 2 kind of gives you a little bit of understanding of what's going on, but very little. Issue 3, which we're at right now, tends to be those that kind of give you almost like a forensic breakdown. It usually gives you a real true understanding of what's going on, so you don't feel like you're losing your mind trying to keep up with the story. I dig what Doug Wagner does, and I can't wait to get into Narco issue number 3. Let's cruise out from that and talk about Odin, issue number 1 of 9. Now, this is one of those James Tynion stories, and also by Bennett. And I did get the Ash Can some time ago. I like what they're going for as far as the overall storyline. I'm using that one for like World War II or types storylines or Westerns. I can forgive him for this because of how the time and era is more of a setup for the feel and overall looming darkness that's coming, which is more of the storyline than it is just the era in which the story takes place. Excuse me. So that being stated, Odin issue number 1 coming out tomorrow is going to be a 9-issue series that I know of, and I'm looking forward to being that how it's not only delivered as far as the storyline is concerned, which is rather unique, but the art in it is very, very rich, and it pretty much jumps out at you. It's hard not to be immersed in this book because, like I said, it's so much in your face. But once you start getting into the storyline, you start realizing that all the colors and everything kind of play a major role in the storytelling itself and the feel of it as it's being presented. Just saying. Odin, issue number 1 of 9, coming out tomorrow on 5/20/2026. Let's move out from the Image Publishing and cruise over to the last publisher, which is Marvel Universe. The Marvel. Yeah. Start off with talk about Amazing Spider-Man issue number 29. As I stated before, I'm really far behind. That stated, I'll also release anywhere from 2 to 4 books a month on Amazing Spider-Man, depending on the size of the month. It's a 5-week month, and you tend to get as many as 4 books coming out. Just saying, hard to keep up sometimes. So Amazing Spider-Man issue number 29, where we're getting out of that is a friend of Peter's, long ago friend, who was introduced in issue number 1 of this particular volume series, had a minor accident and is blaming Peter directly for it. And we get a new introduction of a new character in this particular issue. So I'm looking forward to not only that, but that means that we're also getting him, meaning Peter, kind of settled in. The fact that he's back and dealing with all that Hellgate stuff is almost seemingly in the past. I think it's going to end up kind of looming back. My point also that there being is it does bridge off and go into a new direction. I'm curious and looking forward to what this new direction is and how this character in this introduction is going to play a role in the arc coming up. Let's move out from Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 29, and talk about Sorcerer Supreme, issue number 6. I've been digging this whole Sorcerer Supreme thing, along with the Doctor Strange thing, and how it all revolves around one another, and indirectly, so does the Mortal Thor at this point, because of it doesn't matter. Anyways, jumping back into Sorcerer Supreme, I really like the fact that Agatha and there's an inner battle going on, and beyond the inner battle, they both, the individuals proclaiming to be the new sorceress supreme, are still trying to do the right thing. But between the Vishanti demanding one to do one thing and the other one kind of exalting and exonerating herself from, and to a point of a position that's not really supposed to be for her, and this between the inner battles of between them, and I know it all seems weird. What I'm really getting at is there has been a telling of the story as far as the Sorcerer Supreme that I didn't see coming, and it has very little to do directly with Doctor Strange. Between Agatha and between Scarlet Witch, and it's just, and the battles that are going with Vishanti, and how even the house has been responding. Like I said, I'm a little far behind, but what I've been seeing is that this is going to start affecting, in my belief, when Doctor Strange comes back, a whole new arc towards the end of the year of how this is all going to have to play out. I'm really curious on all this. I'm waiting for these two to end to get a new Doctor Strange book. Has to happen. Or maybe he has to fight for the title. Oh, that'd be awesome. I'm just saying. Might even be a three-way battle. Sorcerer Supreme, issue number 6. Can't wait to jump it in my hands. Just saying. Venom. Let's talk about Venom. Move out from Sorcerer Supreme. Talk about Venom, issue number 258. I've yet to read issue number 256 or 7. Damn it. I've really been digging what's going on. And I know what really is happening here. This is kind of a filler gap between what's going to end up happening in 259 through, I think it's 266 or 7. Yeah, it's that whole summer thing that's coming along, and then it's going to be cool. That ties in with the whole Queen in Black thing, you know what I mean? So really what we're getting here is a Mary Jane story, and probably an introspective one. One that also is like I said, is more of a setup for what's going to be coming out for this whole summer thing than anything else. It doesn't mean that I'm not looking forward to it, because being that not only am I playing catch up, I know what this does. It puts a cap on the past 7 issues that have been going on. Just saying. However, this week's Blue Light Special is Reborn Ultimate Impact, issue number 1. There's still going to be so many firsts in this. We're also really, what we're getting is what I've been talking about all last year with the origin boxes. Excuse me. As I made mention before, this origin boxes, the whole idea behind this was basically a setup for the Ultimate Universe to come back. See, 3 years ago, oh my God, I was talking about how Marvel really wasn't entertaining any ongoing series, and then the Ultimate series came out. Well, the longest any of those was supposed to be, I think, was 16 issues on the Spider-Man thing initially, as it was initially pitched. But it wasn't even being pitched by the writer. It was actually being pitched by Marvel, saying how they want to set up this universe. Everyone was, as far as the writers were concerned, on board about setting up the whole new Ultimate Universe. But none of which knew that they were basically being capped as far as the setup was concerned. What I'm getting at is the resulting success of Spider-Man and other Ultimate series led to an extension on the storytelling of that Ultimate tale. Because really, and I can't verify this for certain, I need to talk to a couple people, but it's panned out this way so far. Really what it was a setup for this Ultimate Universe to be released. And here we are with it. We have a story with Miles initially being tasked to protect those origin boxes. And after what we get is those boxes, where the boxes are now, their origin powers have been released, and we have new characters. That's no secret, being that the majority of the covers out there are cover images of these new characters. Point being, these are all ultimate characters. These are all characters coming from this ultimate universe. Hence, my theory, I would imagine by either the end of this year or the beginning of next, what we're going to have is a whole new ultimate universe. Somehow, in this one, I don't know how they're going to bridge off or how it's going to split or something, or how it's divergent. That stated, we have the origin boxes on the 616, and now that they're loose, we have these ultimate characters in the 616. How it plays out from there, I'm not quite certain. That's why I'm so dying to get my hands on an issue. I have a few coming, and I'm looking forward to how this all plays out. Along with the I got one of all those. What is it? I got to cover A, obviously, but I think it's B, C, D, and E are the four main. They give you the four main base character covers, if I recall. Those are the ones I got. I'm just looking forward to reading one. This is exactly what I was looking for when I knew all these box stuff was coming out with the Ultimate Universe, and how it was all leading up with Miles. Cody Ziegler did a wonderful job telling all this, and now that he's not even involved, I'm curious how this continuity is going to work, along with who is going to be writing it from here on in, because this is going to be a lot of Ultimate work. Just saying. Hey, for those of you that cruise on in, I appreciate you. Agu, thanks. Las Cruces, Jag, and anyone else that may have came on in, thank you very much for tuning on in to me. That's it for me. Entropy. Until next time.